Hey you guys, I wanted to come on here and make this video about black female erasure and how it negatively impacts black women. And what prompted me to make this video was because I saw an influx of propaganda centering around video games, movies, TV shows, what have you. And to me, I want to highlight some key instances in which media is trying to replace black women with lighter skinned, white, or biracial women in an effort to erase the true image of what a black woman is. Now, before I get into this, like always, a disclaimer: I don't harbor any hostility towards anyone, and I don't intend to create a narrative to make it seem like one group is a natural antagonist. And I completely understand sometimes it's circumstantial and that erasure may not have been the intended purpose. But with that being said, let's go ahead and jump right into this. So the first example that I want to go ahead and start with is Jade from the Mortal Kombat series. Now, if you guys are like me, you are aware that in the beginning of Mortal Kombat, Jade was a dark-skinned black woman. She appeared this way throughout the 90s, but sometime during the course of Mortal Kombat 2 and onwards, it seems as though the creators of Mortal Kombat had different palettes for Jade. And I don't mean a change in her fighting attire, I mean her skin. I want you guys to actually look at this picture here of Jade, and you can tell that if you pay close attention, you notice a significant difference in Jade's appearance. You see that she's no longer a dark-skinned black woman. Instead, she appears to be a white or Asian woman, implying that somehow Jade's race is interchangeable, which is odd because in the realm of Mortal Kombat, for as long as I've been playing this game, no other character's race ever seems to change as much as Jade's does. And whenever we actually take a look at another fighter's character, which is Jackson Briggs from Mortal Kombat as well, you can see that he's a black American man. His appearance is actually kept throughout most of the games. I do know that in some of the newer games, he also happens to have a different palette swap that allows him to be white. However, it just seems like in the instance with Jade, it seems like it more commonly occurs with her. And even another character that I even realized that they do it to quite commonly is Tanya. Tanya is also another character from Mortal Kombat that seems to go through drastic alterations in her appearance. I want to show you guys this picture so you can see this as well. Now, I made mention of this just to show you guys the epitome of erasure, and just to kind of show you how it seems like that it happens mostly with the black female characters in Mortal Kombat. So in this picture that I keep showing you guys here, this is actually the most newest Mortal Kombat that they have out, Mortal Kombat 11. And you guys can see that in this image, it looks like that Jade actually has the appearance of what appears to be a biracial woman. The biracial woman appears on the right, and the Jade that everybody is used to seeing is the one on the left. So you guys can see that this is something that is definitely a problem, and obviously we can actually look at the origins of this. I do know that Asians still actively play a role in racism. They see black as something negative, and so having a dark-skinned black woman on a game to them is probably seen as problematic, and the best way to combat this is by making her white or biracial, which she appears to be in Mortal Kombat 11. And this further contributes to the narrative of black erasure overall, but more specifically in this case, black female erasure. Now, what I want to do now is switch gears here for a moment and turn your attention to another issue. This is going to focus on Princess Tiana from the movie The Princess and the Frog. Now, in this picture, we see that Tiana is a dark-skinned girl with traditional features. She has jet black hair, wide nose, and looks like her lips are a little more filled out. And this is a portrayal that people saw when they watched the movie. Now, the problem with this one is that when they brought Princess Tiana back for Wreck-It Ralph 2, you guys also see in the same picture to the right that Tiana looks visibly different. It looks like she now has the phenotype of a biracial girl. Notice how it looks like her hair has more of a looser texture to it. In addition to that, it looks like her skin tone has been lightened a little bit to appear more racially ambiguous. Also, her features have undergone a significant change. Her nose seems like it's a little bit thinner, as well as her lips being affected. And because of the drastic change in her appearance, fans had actually berated Disney so bad that they actually had to go back and remodel Tiana's appearance in Wreck-It Ralph 2. Even the black woman who was inspired for Princess Tiana wrote to Disney, basically expressing her contempt for Princess Tiana's makeover. And Disney had actually later acknowledged this and corrected it. But to me, I'm not surprised by Disney because I don't know if you guys heard or saw this, but Disney actually does have their fair share of racism. If you guys remember the band cartoons that were shown during the 1930s and 40s of black people in their animated shorts, then you guys are probably familiar with their racism that they've had before in the past. And if any of you actually have the new Disney Plus app, you'll see that included in their extensive catalog, they actually have included these racist cartoons in their collection. So Disney can actually miss me with their BS diversity and inclusion speech. We've heard it 1,000 times and it's just like, no. These portrayals are done with intention and purpose, and we know that when it comes to marketing and advertising, there are no mistakes. You guys have to understand that prior to the release of any kind of like a product or a brand or service, it's actually discussed at least 1 year in advance before it's released to the general public. So they have plenty of time to think about any backlash it may cause from a group of people, and Disney is no exception to that. It actually even reminds me of the time that H&M had that advertisement when the little black boy was wearing the coolest monkey in the jungle sweatshirt, and they tried to apologize for that too, and I just wasn't there for it. So again, with these companies, you know they just don't care and don't expect for them to change. So to keep this from going over too long, we're going to go ahead and go to another character, and this one here is actually from another fighting game. Now, for those who may be unfamiliar, Virtua Fighter is a fighting style game similar to Mortal Kombat. Both fighters have the same amount of health at the start of the match, and of course, as time goes on and each player takes hits, they lose health with each successful hit until the conclusion of the match. So here pictured, we see Vanessa, who is a black character. We see also that there is a white counterpart of Vanessa, so obviously just more of the same, and that's actually why I brought up the tidbit about Asian racism, because we have to pay attention to the origins of where these games are made from. The Asians see whiteness as pure and darkness as something like a plague, and they also adhere to the negative stereotypes portrayed in mainstream media about black people, and that just subsidizes their bigotry. And I have two more examples I'm going to show to you guys really quick. Again, I don't want this to be too long, and then I'll go ahead and wrap this up. So in this example, I'm going to show you something a little bit different. Now, in this one, this is actually an image that was sent to me by one of my subscribers. They informed me that this was from some time ago, back in the late summer of 2019, but this picture is of a virtual model by the name of Shudu. Shudu, according to my subscriber, is a virtual model. So in other words, she's like, I guess, like an avatar. I'm not entirely sure, but she looks like a realistic African black woman with traditional African features. But the reason that I mention this is because Shudu she plays a role in Black Erasure, and you have to understand why, because the man that you see pictured here to the left, his name is Cameron James Wilson. So obviously you can see that he's a man from the dominant society, and he is the creator of Shudu. Now, I've never heard of this man before, and I don't know if he has like a fascination with black women. I'm completely unfamiliar, but judging by what my subscriber was talking about, it's an issue because with Shudu, she's a virtual model, so it would take away from real black women in the modeling industry. And I agree with her on that, because the black models have to work 3 times as hard to get booked for modeling gigs, and even then they can still be treated as expendables once they're done with them. And Shudu, through means of this man's vision, would contribute to black female erasure, because if modeling agencies or companies want a model to model their attire, they can turn to this man and pay him for this virtual avatar to model their clothing, which not only takes money from black women, but it also in essence would replace them with this virtual fantasy. Now, last but not least, I want to go to this next one here. And if you guys don't know who this is Nessa. She is from the Pokemon series. She appears in Pokemon Sword and Shield, and she's actually my favorite gym leader. Pokemon Sword and Shield, it was just released last year in 2019 on the Nintendo Switch. She is the gym leader for the Hulberry Gym, and her specialty is water type Pokemon. And I loved actually watching the commercial when I first saw that they had a black girl in the game, because I was ecstatic because I'm like, yes, finally one of us appears. But then I started seeing these alternate screenshots of what appeared to be a white Nessa, and guys, honestly, at that point I was just fed up. I'm like, this is so annoying and tired already. It can never be just a black woman. There always has to be some kind of like a palette swap to coddle the feelings in the masses, which goes to show you that we are not really as racially progressive as the world tries to suggest. I never see anyone's race drastically altered in any other universe or games or anime. And for those trying to come on here with the false equivalencies like Green Lantern being black. Please don't do that. Green Lantern was originally a white man, and I'm talking about black women who were originally black but in later appearances were traded out with something lighter or white in comparison. And it gets so tired, and I shouldn't have to make these disclaimers every time I come on here. I mean, like I said, I understand that we now live in a world where everything needs to be politically correct, and we have to be mindful about what we say. But I feel like for those who have been with me since the beginning, obviously you guys know my intentions are not to create tension or antagonism towards anyone. And it's just really to call out the hypocrisy and double standards that society spews with its anti-black rhetoric. And I know that these were just a few instances and there's a lot more, but I made this video to highlight my opinion that traditional black women are being slowly erased from not only mainstream media, but even in other sectors like video games and some anime. So with that being said, let me know your thoughts on this. Do you guys think that there's an agenda to phase black women out, or do you think this is sheer coincidence and that black women are still marketable to the masses? Oh, and another thing, you guys should definitely check out Kelly Rowland's new video, Coffee, if you haven't already. I really like the visual imagery present within her video. She really showcases dark-skinned black women and does a good job at highlighting their beauty, and the song is pretty dope, so check that out too. But anyways, you guys, I'm going to go ahead and get off here. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and share this video. Thank you guys so much for your support, and I will see you in the next one.